All right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I would like to start off by giving all praises and blessings to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Raha HaKodash. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone, pushing this word in all diligence, vigilance, and all truth. Okay? That's why we're here. We're here for the truth. All right? And we're sincere and very charitable by sacrificing our time, our lives, uh, to forward this truth, this ministry, the gospel of who the world ignorantly calls God or Jesus the Christ. All right, whose real names are Yahweh, Wah, Yahweh Shai. So that was Wah meaning and. Okay, so you need to rewind it. Okay, rewind it, and then you figure out what I just said. It was very simple. But anyway, um, shalom to the women and to the children who watch and who learn from these videos. All right. So this is going to be a review or response video to the reactions. Okay, this is not a video on Kanye's Heil Hitler. Okay, and look, he spelled it wrong. See, Jake, our people are cooned out, man. The effect that Esau, and that's why I'm doing a response video to the reactions. Okay, to the reactions. So here is a reaction from this individual named Steve Knight. All right, Steve Knight. Okay, and you can look at the look in it on his face. His expression. Okay, and if you haven't heard um, this video, uh, and if you're not a fan of hip hop music, fan, of your culture, okay, that you were brought up in. All right. And let me say, I'm no longer a fan of it. Okay, but I was brought up in it. Okay, so from the you could say from the beginning. All right. Um, um, again, this video that or song that Kanye came out with, the name is entitled Heil Hitler. All right, which I can't spell good, but I believe it is Heil. Okay, and it's not Hail. Okay, it would be Heil. Believe that is the real title of his video. Okay, it's time for me to get ready. But anyway, um, this is a response video to the reactions. Again, to the reactions. Now, his video, it pretty much, the provocative or the you know the what everybody's shocked about. Now I'm just gonna show you real quick. Now this is a Jake. so-called, he could be a so-called black man. All right, he could be an Edomite or another nation, but he's so-called black man. Now his reaction, he doesn't understand what's going on. Okay, and that's the thing. A lot of people listen to music and see a lot of things. They don't understand what's going on. Okay. Um, Here's a brother. Now he looks like he's from the Northern Kingdom. Oh my God. All right. Um, the Northern Kingdom. There. You see, he has the smooth face. Okay. Um, ultimately, these people are going to learn once Esau sticks those horns up their ass. All right. He's already uh coming down with legislation, and they're talking about deporting people. So Jake still doesn't get it. Okay, they still don't get it, and this is again, this is a response to the reactions. Okay, so it wasn't that many reactions to this. Three, and so I'm guessing this song just came out because it just popped up on my news feed. So you see this guy Michael Knowles, okay, the way he's looking. So let me get a scripture real quick, and then I'm going to, because I normally get to talking, and then before I know it, it's 8 minutes, 9 minutes into a video. So I'm going to start off with a scripture, and this scripture fits it. All right. This is Ecclesiastes 12:4. Ecclesiastes 12:4, and it says, "And the doors shall be shut in the streets." And so the Bible is a book of prophecy. All right. The Bible is a book of prophecy. It means that since back then, during those times, they were telling of a time to come in the end of the world, okay, in the end of times, okay, that these things that they're talking about then would start happening, okay. And it's not, and a lot of these prophecies are not going to just happen one time; they're going to repeatedly happen. All right, so that it leaves you people without an excuse, because you people like to come up with excuses. Oh, we never knew. We never. Nobody told us. No one said nothing. Okay, so a lot of these things repeatedly happen, and then even the naysayers. Okay, those who are wishy-washy. Okay, you got people that say, "Oh man, see that happened. It keep happening, man. It ain't nothing gonna change." Okay, and then they go back to doing evil and wickedness. Okay, so those fakes, those phonies, are going to get out as well. Okay, but uh, you know, but the real followers of the Hamashiach, all right, Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, who the world ignorantly calls God and Jesus Christ, they're going to stay on board, okay, and they're going to go through this thing, uh, whether rich, whether poor, they're going to go through this thing to the end, all right, and that is the patience, pretty much, and faith of the saints, all right. It's all about patience, which a lot of people, they want to really be caught up in this world and do the things that this world has to offer. So this is a prophecy that will take place in the last days and times, and we see it happening now. Okay, the doors are being shut in the streets, and it's been going on for quite some time here in Chicago, blocks away from the Magnificent Mile, and even on the Magnificent Mile, you have department stores that have closed their doors. Okay, on just a few blocks west on State Street, which I'm gonna have to be out there today. I really hate it, but because Esau has spoiled your children, and this is what Kanye's talking about. You people don't understand what you got. You should look at Chicago and thank the Lord that you are not okay a parent in Chicago. All right, you're not raising your children here in Chicago. Okay, because Esau has handed these children military weapons. Okay, this is not down south. Okay, down south, these children could go into a gun shop with an ID and pick up a gun. All right, but in the south, there's really nothing. The south is dug its own grave, man. People in the south have dug their own grave. They really don't. They're not dealing with capitalism as much as people in the north are. Okay, you're down there. You got maybe you have some land, maybe you don't, but you're not dealing with capitalism and what trickles down from really being up under the heat of this devil. See, when you were dealing with that was during the time of slavery. Okay, and that's when your ass was on the plantation. Okay, and the Northern Kingdom wasn't even allowed to even come here. Okay, either come up here. Okay, so these reactions that you Jakes you're giving to Kanye's Heil Hitler, you don't understand what's going on, and even a lot of you are from the north. Okay, I'm giving you a history lesson. Okay, because Hitler is a part of history. What took place in Germany, a lot of you don't understand. So-called black people risked their lives during World War II, World War One. Every war that has been fought in America, so-called blacks have been a part of. All right, and so they are entitled to speak on these, on that history. All right, just like um, the J Man, okay, the 1948er. The 1948er, he makes movies about slavery, and he was a participant in the enslavement of you so-called Negroes here in North America, and you so-called Negroes, okay, who call yourself Hispanic in South America. The 1948er, the J Man, he put you. He, he's the one who came and took your land. He's the one that did it. He's the one that divided you. And so now they're trying to, you know, the psychological damage that they have you people living in is constant. It's repetitive. You know, let me read some more of the scripture, man. So it says, the doors says when the sound of the grinding is low. Okay, So work is low. All right, work is low. Uh, there are no factories here, and there were a lot of factories. You had meat distribution, but guess what, man? All right, at the end of the day, the J man, the 1948er, he wants total power. He wants total power over the rest of you, over the world. Okay, and so what he's doing is, because they uh, own most of these big establishments, they're tightening the belts so that they can ultimately come up with the MOTB, the mark of the beast that is talking about in Revelations, the book of Revelation. All right, the 13th chapter. Go read it. Okay, so they have kept wealth out of your hands, and I'm talking about the 1948ers. Now they're not alone. Okay, you have people who have who call themselves white people. Okay, they have participated. They have been willing participants in keeping you so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans in the worst conditions as possible. But as you see the reactions of these individuals about Kanye making this song, Heil Hitler, or even him, saying that he's a Nazi, you people don't understand it, okay? You people don't get it. You know, me saying that I was a student or part of hip hop and music, you know, was mostly, love, and I wasn't around since the beginning of this music, but, you know, it was about dancing, good vibrations, okay? Good times, even in oppression. Okay, and let me get another scripture real quick. Okay, I'm gonna get another scripture. Even in oppression, music uh was to, even when we were on the plantations, we were singing, all right? Let me get a scripture. Let me find it 1 second. This is Job 30:9, and it says, and now, okay, and now, because this devil hasn't changed, and now am I their song, yea, okay, Kanye, all right, yea, I am their byword, okay. And so what did Kanye said, Heil Hitler, nigga. Okay, you can. I'm not gonna play the song because, of course, they want me to do it. All right, so they can, even though, you know, uh, we, use you know, the copyright. All right, we use the copyright, freedom of information, freedom of use. Okay, they still, listen, we use that and they still break the law. They are the judges, they are the lawyers. Okay, I have cases that are in limbo, cases that no lawyer is touching. The lawyers that are touching it is just sitting there. Okay, it's because they're all together. Okay, and this is what Kanye is showing you. Okay, um, he's saying how Hitler, and that's what the chorus is saying. How Hitler, nigga. All right, and you know there was always some uh you know profanity in hip hop, but the turning point in the music would have been with NWA. Okay, NWA. I'm a niggas with attitudes. Okay, Ice Cube under the under the direction of Jerry Heller. Okay, Jerry Heller who who boosted. Okay, and that's why rappers. Okay, they get more. These people make more money than athletes. Okay, musicians, they make more money than athletes, teachers. They're more influential, and that is because of the power structure who is behind them. You see, the J Man, the 1948er, he's behind the rappers. They're on his label. And so what they did in the what was the NWA was in, I believe it was the late 70s. Well, wait, no, NWA was in the 80s. Okay, they were in the 80s because the 70s were the you had the the hip hop, the other hip hop, but the 80s is where you had the NWA, niggas with attitudes. Okay, niggas with attitudes, and you know uh even Dr. Dre, they had a song. Uh, he says, in which Dr. Dre was coached into saying this. All right, I believe Ice Cube may have even wrote the lyrics because Ice Cube was more of the more of the thinker out of the group. But uh, uh, they was asking Dre in the song, pretty much, why do you call yourself a nigga? And he said pretty much, I'm gonna be called a nigga anyway. I think I'm not sure if it's a nigga for life or uh, yeah, I think it was nigga for life. Okay, and so they always want, okay, you so-called blacks to be reminded that you are a nigga. Okay, nigger, which is a byword. Okay, black is also a byword, but we have become their byword. That's how they make their money, off of you calling the next man a nigga, off of you calling the next man that's your brother a op, okay, a pack. That's how they make their money. You see, even some of these songs, I've seen even with like Chief Keef. You know, you could tell that what we're doing is, you know, they're under, even these younger rappers are starting to understand what's going on because they're taking out, smoking this pack, smoking on that guy, that dead guy. They've taken that even out of their old songs because a lot of them are starting to see it. Because listen, this is how the J Man makes his money. If listen, we thought Dr. Dre was, we're thinking these people, are super stupendously rich. Okay? And they are. But these people have people who are writing checks for them. Yeah, we see Suge Knight, very powerful individual. But Suge Knight has someone over him. Okay? And that's why he is in jail. And that is the J Man. That is the J Man. Okay? Kanye. What y'all don't understand is Kanye understands this. He understands this. So he's pretty much saying, okay, I'm not going to produce the music that's making my brother say, kill my other brother or kill you, brother. I'm going to do like, I'm going to sell you your history. Okay? We jump up, we go see Django. We just went to go see Sinners. Okay? It was a great movie, incredible. But it's about our plight. They're making money off of our plight. And that's what the music industry has turned into. Look at these filthy, disgusting women, man. I wouldn't touch them with a 10-foot pole. But some of you Jakes, you have been conditioned to like a woman like Glorilla or some of these other women, man. And they're not even women, man. They're bitches and hoes. Okay? And that's facts. They're bitches and hoes because they are and you dudes who sing you're niggas. And I'm not talking about with an A, I'm talking about ER. You're niggers because you are the results. You are the results of what the 1948er or the J Man has created. You are the results of that, all right? Oh, wow. So, I'm let me I got I'm gonna call on one of these other devices. One second. So you are the results of the 1948er. Okay? You are that result. You are a nigger. Okay, if you're a male, if you're a woman, you are a hoe. You are a bitch. Okay? Because you are the products of that. That's what they created. And so what Kanye is doing, listen, he said, Heil, nigga. Okay? And he has a course saying it. But see, you blacks, you're not gonna bump that. You're not gonna play that. Okay? Because it offends who? Your master, like Malcolm X said, you know, uh, in one of his speeches, he says, you know, these blacks begin to think like they're like, you're so much of a slave, you think that you're the master. Talking about is we sick, master? Okay, the house burning. Okay, the slave be the first one to go put it out. You niggas is slave minded. Okay, and that's why a lot of these people are looking at the Hebrew Israelites crossway, cross-eyed. Okay, now, okay, they've made was it Glory, all of these movies, okay, that they make. They really don't. Nat Turner was, it was a good movie, okay. Roots, they make and produce these movies Okay, and they get paid off of them. You yasamum yasbal. That was painful. But when you make a movie and do a movie on their culture, or say, then it's hateful. They made up nigga. They don't gotta say it if they got you saying it. You see? But see, most of you Jakes, psychologically, you're through, man. You're kaput. So let me finish reading that scripture that I had. So Job 30:9, and now am I their song, yea, I am their byword. Okay. Oh wow. Let me see. Where was we? Is that it? Okay, Ecclesiastes 12:4. And it says, and all the daughters of music shall be brought low. All right. And so now, you had hip hop, but then you had the gangster rap, okay, which was a daughter, okay. You had R&B, and then you got, this, with the moles, what was it, MO3, okay. And these people are killing each other. The music is terrible. It's terrible. You know, I like I like beats and instrumentals and the sounds of, because a lot of rappers, they use real instruments, violins, pianos, but they tweak with the frequency of the music, so that's bringing the music low. But if I want to listen to an artist like MC8, and I'm out in California on the West Coast, I gotta beware, okay? I can't just bump MC8, without feeling nervous on the West Coast that a blood may hear me playing MC8, and he may drive on the side of me and shoot my car up. Or if I'm playing uh the game, or DJ Quick, all right, and I'm on the West Coast, I gotta worry about, a Crip might hear me playing DJ Quick, or the game, and automatically, and this is the way that these J men have set it up. If I'm in the Midwest and I'm playing King Von, all right, I gotta worry about if the Stones or the Vice Lords or the GDs are gonna shoot the car up. Okay? If I'm playing Twister, then I gotta worry about these guys, if they're gonna shoot the car up. Okay? If I'm on the East Coast, I gotta worry about if these guys are gonna shoot the car up because I'm listening. I can't just listen in peace. No. You know? And the door and music is brought low. Now it's not for enjoyment and healing. So after a hard day of work, when you just wanna, you know, dealing with the stress that this devil puts you through every day, you don't have that music that you once had, on the plantation, sing a song and, be able to get up and go back to work. And no, man. Now you have to, you're still stressed out, and then go into some more people who can't stress out. That's what this 1948er J man has done, man. Music is brought low. He's destroyed the music. And you people, your reaction is, oh man, this nigga's retarded. He's crazy. He's stupid. He's stupendous. You don't get it because you're not looking with a spiritual eye. You're looking with that mote in your eye, man. So anyway, with that being said, Lord willing, you were edified, and whether Kanye he doesn't even have to be doing this himself. The Lord could be pushing him to do this. Okay? But it's evident they don't like what he's doing. They hate what he's doing. Okay? They hate it. Could you imagine people running around singing Heil Hitler? Like what they were doing to Drake? What was the song that the other rapper made about Drake? He not like us? Could you imagine everywhere that these people went? It was saying Heil Hitler, nigga. So you takes need to open your spiritual mind, man. This is a spiritual battle. Okay? You're dealing with a devil, man, that has you in chains. And the worst chains are the ones that are around your brain. Those are the worst ones. Okay? So with that being said, Lord willing,